Seriously.
I am not.
No, it just shh. We got it. Okay. Boys, here we go. This is the fun of recording from home. Okay. We need to tell my video editor to put in the little beep. Hey everybody, it's Prince Charming and Cinderella, and welcome to this edition of Marriage Mojo. What are we going to talk about today?
Today we're going to talk about something that I think is hard. I think everybody struggles with it. We just had it. Anyway, especially as you add children to your family.
Okay.
I think that this becomes even more difficult. The more kids you have, the more busy you become with them. It's something that sounds easy, but it's not. And I think it's something that really can make your marriage great or not so great, and that's communication.
Communication is definitely important.
It is. And the problem with communication is, if y'all haven't noticed, men and women communicate very differently. We're wired differently.
Some would even say that men have a box they go into, and
I've heard this.
They compartmentalize things, and then like women are like, they have like multiple circuits that are they're like going on all the time. So
yeah,
you can multitask, and guys, we like are task oriented, one compartment at a time. So is that about right?
That sums it up. Women, I'm going to pick on us first. We kind of think that men can read our minds, our emotions through our actions. I know. Sometimes I think you can, but they're not great at it. But we expect them to be, and then when they're not, reading our minds, that we're upset about something or emotional about something or sad about something, because we haven't verbalized it, just by our facial expressions or actions, they should get it, but they don't. So when they don't, then you get mad, and then you just make more verbal cues and expressions, and maybe you slam some things around, and all the man's doing is, I don't know what her problem is.
Or we'll say,
what's wrong?
What's wrong? And you'll be like, I don't want to talk about it.
By that time, you've slammed some stuff around, and you're mad, and you stomp to your room. Okay, so let me tell you, ladies, we need to fix this. Men can't read your minds. As hard as it is, and you think they should know, just assume they don't, and you need to talk to them, okay? And what I mean by communication, I mean communication about everything, about what's going on in your day, what's good in your day, about your children, especially about your finances. Oh my goodness, well, that could be a whole nother marriage mojo topic altogether. But you have to communicate so you are acting as one with everything you do. And when husband's away from home, or you both have jobs and you've got kids and you're running from place to place, there's many times where you don't even see your husband until 8 or 9 at night. And you have no idea what's happened that day. But it's very important to somehow get that communication in so that everybody knows what's going on. Agree?
Yes, I totally agree. Because like men, like we always want to try to fix things. So
yes, they are fixers.
Cindy and I have been married for 17 years. And, a lot of people look at us on the outside and they think that we have this absolute perfect marriage, which it is amazing, and it is awesome, and we are falling deeper in love every single day, and we enjoy our kids. But it's been a journey, and we learned early on, thanks to some mentors, which I think we should actually definitely do a video on that too, on finding a mentor. But we had some really good mentors that taught us what I think was some very important keys, especially when it comes to communication, not only in our love languages, which we covered in a previous video, but not only as well as in our finances, as well as in just day-to-day communication. And for guys, this is just a little tip, is we don't have to fix things. So Cindy will come to me with a problem, and she'll want me to fix it, or she'll want my resolution, or at least some input on whatever the situation may be. Maybe it's a financial decision, maybe it's a discipline decision with the kids, maybe it's just something, that she needs help with. But then there's other times where she just wants to talk to me, and she just wants me to listen.
Yes.
I don't have to fix it. She
Ladies
just
like
wants,
you to listen.
Yes.
When they communicate.
Yes, so she just wants me to shh.
Well, the other thing on that about fixing things is women, if your man has had a bad day that day, you know they're putting out fires and they're under stress, probably not a good time to go talk to them about a discipline issue with your kids. They may not fix that problem that night the way you would want them to, which would also make you mad. So I guess what I'm trying to say here
You
is...
mean like handling the situation like it's a nail and
Yes.
with a hammer?
Yes, hammer and nail. That's exactly right. So if you don't want to handle...
Maybe I've done that a couple times.
Maybe. So if you don't want it handled like a hammer and a nail, then you might wait till the timing is a little better, more settled down. And the other thing too is there is a scripture in the Bible from Ephesians that says, don't let sin control you, and don't let your anger make you sin, and don't let the sun go down while you are angry. And I know there's a lot of interpretations about that, but we actually really, really try. Now, we are not always successful. We still work at this every day. That's why I want to talk about it, because it's hard. But if, one of you are upset about something, we really strive to get it resolved, or at least talk it out before we go to bed. And I don't know about you, we've tried not doing that before, and this scripture really does play. I don't get good sleep. You can't sleep when you're mad, and you wake up the next day even more mad.
Yep.
It just doesn't fix anything.
And there's an elephant in the living room.
And there is. So that scripture is something we kind of hold to our hearts as kind of a guide for our marriage when we have issues.
And our kids. We
and
pass that on to our kids, because when there's a situation, we don't let them go to bed angry at each other, or if they're upset about something, you just don't do that.
Yeah.
You definitely keep an open line of communication on everything. So
I would just say in closing, just make sure that both of you are willing to listen if your spouse wants to communicate to you, because the absolute worst thing is to go to your husband with something that's on your heart and they are doing something and acting like it's really not important. If they are on their computer, on their phone, and they're not listening to you, it makes you feel like it's not important. So I would say both ways. If a spouse comes to you and wants to talk and communicate, then actually actively listen.
Be an active listener.
And participate in that conversation. And like I said, just communicate everything, over communicate, and you will have a lot less problems come up in your marriage, because you just won't let things go unsaid. I think there's a lot of divorces caused by things left unsaid and misconceptions that aren't true, because couples decide they don't need to talk it out because he or she feels like this, because they're assuming their spouse has done or feels a certain way, and they never ever talk about it. And they never ever talk about it. This thing starts small and it grows and it grows and it grows so big that one day they realize they can't any longer fix it. They have so many problems that they can't fix it. That's why.
And it was all based on feelings, not
and miscommunications.
True Yeah, it was all based on feelings via miscommunications.
Right.
And if there would have just been some good heart-to-heart conversations, those feelings probably would have never been built up in the first place.
Right.
So,
That's it.
Hope
Communication.
Communication. Hope you enjoyed this session of Marriage Mojo. See ya.